there are a number of different ways that we can approach this. So I don't want to suggest here's one answer, but a couple. And I'll start with a sort of more philosophical, and then I'll work down to what do we do when we're meditating. So from the general to the specific, and we can try any and all of them. Given everything that's been going on, I've been going back to, in my Buddhism class, but also in my personal practice, reading about accounts of past Buddhists who also lived through times of conflict. And there's some interesting passages, which of course, none of them are popping up into my head right now when I need them. But it is a good reminder that changes in history are a constant. And we seem stuck between wanting to find a break, but we also have to acknowledge that change is part of our life. Some sort of stories or koans in Zen take this to an extreme. One famous story has a man being chased by a hungry tiger. He's being chased towards a cliff. What do? He gets to the cliff, he jumps over and manages to grab a branch from a tree growing out of the side of the cliff. So here he is, hungry tiger above him, leaning over, trying to reach him, 1,000-foot drop right before him. He's holding on for dear life. And he notices some honey on one of the branches left by some bees, and starts licking it. So traditionally, the way this has been interpreted is, here we are stuck in this world where all sorts of things are happening. And instead of focusing on finding peace, we get distracted by all the things that are happening. Instead of focusing on what is important, our attention goes here. Liz mentioned social media. Dangerous, and yet it's so hard to not keep looking at it, keep looking at it. You can think of many other distractions, but instead of focusing on this as just, well, that's life, here we are stuck. I think a more hopeful way to interpret that koan on that story is a reminder that our time on earth is finite, and whatever situation we find ourselves in, hanging on for dear life, and Lord knows it's felt like that for a lot of us recently. Here we are right now. So one way to look at this, and I don't think this is a standard way to look at it, is we're not dead right now. The tiger is not eating us. We're not actually falling. We're looking for permanent stability, but that doesn't really happen in this life. And as much as we might want it and reach for it, maybe it's better to not let go, because then you're going to fall, not climb up. Instead of trying to escape the situation, just stay in the present moment. Everything else that's going on is still going to go on. We do what we can, we do what we must, but our impact on world events is small. That's natural, and we don't have to feel guilty about that. We don't have to feel powerless either. But for right now, we're just holding, and that's okay. That's where we're at. So that's the more philosophical side. The more particular side is a technique that is often used in meditation, counting breaths. Breathe in, breathe out, that's one. Breathe in, breathe out, that's two. Anybody who's tried this, even if they have serious meditation practice and been doing it for years, knows it's really hard just to get to 10 without losing track, going off on a tangent, and forgetting your count. And in practice, the important thing is not to go, oh, damn it, I lost track again. Shoot, I should be better at this. Once again, it's tempting to get sucked into that idea of judgment. But instead, we just keep going back to the breath. So I get to 3, maybe I get to 7, and then, oh, where was I? I'm back at 1. So we keep going back to 1. Right? If we get all the way to 10, we don't rest because we still got to keep breathing. We go back to 1 again. This may not be satisfying. But I think it's definitely helpful to reinforce the idea that here we are right now, and we're just sitting and we're just breathing. And things could go crazy any moment. Our situation is, if we recognize it, somewhat fragile. We're humans, we're finite. But that's okay. That's who we are. That's where we are. So if we can just stick with the present moment and just breathe, I think maybe we'll find a little bit of that peace to cling to. And if we keep going with this practice, maybe we'll find a way to expand that beyond the time when we sit. So let's give it a try. Recognize that we're just here right now. And however crazy the world is, right here, right now is pretty peaceful if we let it, if we just focus on our breathing.